Hello, welcome to Africa Enlightenment Center. Most of the countries in Africa gained their independence from the colonial masters around the 1960s. But till today, Africa has refused to develop. And what is the cause? We cannot continue to blame the colonial masters. We Africans are to blame. How? Because we have continued the legacy that was brought by the colonial masters. And what was it? Two basic areas. One, the educational system, and two, the religion that was brought by them. These two were not meant to help Africans. They were meant to produce workers, to produce submissive workers that will work for them in the industries and companies that they set up across Africa to export our product, to produce, to process our agricultural products and our minerals like gold, tin, copper, and all that, and export them to Europe. Some of the railways that they set up were set up to be able to take these products to the ports so that they can be taken to Europe. We still operate with the mentality that they gave to us. The brainwashing that they did to us, we Africans are continuing with it. We have not been conscious of the fact that it is time that we develop educational systems that are tailored towards solving the problems of Africa by engaging critical thinking and abandoning that which was given to us by the colonizers. It is time that Africans wake up. Before I continue, let us listen to Joshua Maponga as he addresses some teachers on this matter.
I'm sorry to mention this to you as teachers, that you are no longer producing African students. You are now producing coconuts who are brown on the outside, but what you are feeding their heads with is white information. With white information comes the colonial agenda in full of its might. That includes their appetite, which is colonized, their fashion, which is colonized, their music and art, which is colonized, their sense of governance, their sense of economics, even worse, their sense of spirituality. And unfortunately, some of us, because of our Christian biases, we think that our classrooms have become evangelistic centers, where instead of teaching children, you want to Christianize them. You want to indoctrinate them. You have become part of the problem as teachers, part of the brainwashing machinery. That is no longer teaching students how to think and question things. Because the things that they are questioning, it doesn't mean that you have answers to those things. You are also doubting them, but you are a good Christian, you are a good elder, neither doctors to change. And yet you forget you're not here to make Christians. You are here to educate people who can be useful and relevant in this world and the world to come.
Welcome back. I believe you heard him loud and clear. There is this school that is close to me. The children are being taught prayer, fasting, and all that. It's like that is all their thoughts all day. Different pastors coming to pray for the children. They sing, Jesus is the key. Jesus is the master key. Jesus started with prayer and all that. That is what is ringing in their head. And tell me, what are these children going to grow up to become? Just look at this video. Those are Chinese children. Look at what they're learning. And look at African children in school. It is time we reverse this trend. This is disgraceful. We are the ones now running the mill to keep Africa down. The colonizers are no longer here, but we have continued their legacy by producing children that are not able to think for themselves, that are not able to think critically. It's not only Christianity that is the problem. Islam is also part of the problem. It is time Africans begin to wake up and realize that we have to change this narrative. Our educational system has to change. We have to begin to go back to history, to go back to the things that our forefathers knew, to go back to learning about Africa and understanding our problem, the complexity of Africa, and how we can solve our problems. Using modern science and critical thinking, we can solve the problems of Africa. But first of all, we have to identify who we are and identify where the problem is coming from and what to do with it. And then we tailor the solutions that we already have or solutions that we're going to have toward solving our problems. Our weather, it's our climate, and our soil, everything is not exactly the same, or it's not the same with that is obtainable in Europe. But the educational system we're given is not tailored towards solving Africa's problems, but producing workers for the industries that were set up by the colonial masters. That's why even graduates from this educational system cannot even defend themselves, cannot help themselves. They're helpless. So it is time we devise new curricula for our educational systems across Africa. It is time people of thought begin to come together and say, no, something has to happen. This generation, my generation, you cannot disappoint the children of Africa. You cannot disappoint Africa. You must rise now and begin to find a way to solve these problems. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.